Hello everybody, Nicholas here with my furry assistant Apollo, welcoming you to my new home actually. I've only been here a few days. I actually just moved in on Monday, so things are still, I'm still kind of unpacking. I don't have all of my decks out here yet, but it's great to be here. It's great to be live again. Today, actually, my internet's not working, so I'm using my 5G connection. I tested it out last night. It should be okay. Let me know if there's any sort of hiccups that you see at your end, but if last night's video was any indication, we should be fine. All right, I'm going to put down Apollo and we're going to get started. This is the monthly forecast if you just joined. So actually, one of the things that I love about the new space that we'll all be sharing is all the natural light. I used to face the windows in my old apartment, but I couldn't open them because I was looking right at neighbors. But now we have a nice street view. We have some beautiful greenery behind us, and I feel like this is so much more welcoming and really a great space for the energy work that we're going to be doing together in each and every video. So, if you just joined, let's go through what's going on today. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. As always, these readings can be used for your sun, your rising, and your moon sign. And we have a format that I like to follow here, but I'll get into it as we get a little closer to all of that. I always begin with channeled messages, and these in a large part come through dreams. This morning, a lot of it came through meditation, and that's my sort of direct connection to spirit before I get into all of the Celtic Cross. Today, I'm going to just be selecting the deck because, like I said, I'm still in the process of unpacking. So I just kind of went with the deck that I was most drawn to as I was creating some of my slides. So anyway, let's get started. Before I do that, actually a couple of quick notes. As you've noticed, I've done a few impromptu readings. So if you'd like to stay updated and know when those come through, then become a part of my notification family here and go ahead and click the bell icon in addition to subscribing. We're also very close to a milestone, 1,000 subscribers away, and I'm going to do a Q&A when I hit 325. So very, very close to that, and then we'll do something fun, and I'll let the channel members and Patreon members submit questions, and then maybe I'll take a few when I do the reading. So quick note also on social, I'll remind you of upcoming readings. It's always my name, or on Twitter it's @Ashbaugh. Remember to avoid anybody that tries to solicit business, like saying that they're going to offer a reading on direct message. That's not me. And if you'd like to show support in real time, you can do that here through SuperStickers and SuperChat. Let's give Apollo a little scratch, and then we're going to begin here. Hey, buddy, all settled? Yes, good boy. All right. That part is still the same. He likes to get settled in his bed while we're getting settled here. Okay, so let's pull up the channeled messages. Again, channeled messages, connection to spirit before we even start to work with the cards. Today, the main thing that I was connecting with was the energy of space when it comes to creation in our own life. And then I also am using the metaphor of outer space to kind of help us understand how that's going to fit into our own lives. So let's get started. All right, so again, space is the main message. And that sort of moment, the Big Bang moment or the Epiphany moment, is I think what's going to avail itself to you this month. So let's begin with the first slide here. So when I was thinking about space and meditating on it, the thing that was kind of interesting to me is that, there's these beautiful luminous objects and galaxies, but there's this infinite space between the two of them often. When we're looking out at all those stars, they're so far away, yet they still show. If we were to travel from this place to that place and had a faster way to do it, it would still be a long distance. And the journey would be amazing and interesting, and it probably would be a lot more interesting than reaching that star or that planet. And that reminded me of the sort of journey in our lives from one point to another. When we set all of these goals, maybe it's graduation, wedding, some sort of new event like moving into a new house or something like that, it's the energy spent creating that or opening that window up that is actually what creates the context. For instance, me being here, the reason it's so nice is that I went through such difficulty in trying to open it up. So I'm very appreciative of being able to not be surrounded by construction, for instance, all the time. And so that's nice. And I'll never take quiet for granted again. And so that context creates more joy in the situation than if I had just fast forwarded to it without that experience. Sometimes when we're doing something like building a business from the ground up, or studying really hard to go to school and get a degree. You don't realize until you get that graduation or until the company's built that that was the fun part sometimes, especially when it comes to school, because it's one part in your life where you just get to absorb and focus and immerse yourself in something, where the rest of your life it's going to be in service of others. So enjoy the moment. Don't rush to the graduation podium, figuratively speaking, because there's going to be plenty of time to do that later. There's plenty of time to sort of be delivering and showing up for other people. So if you have a moment where you're trying to make something happen, there's magic right there. So enjoy that. Space is actually still largely not understood. We're still discovering things. The beautiful new telescope that they put out into space is amazing, and you can see some new images and some new findings from that already. But one of the things that's already known is that there's something that we call dark matter. It's not necessarily bad, it's just something that we can't see. But it's actually like this web, which is why I chose the, I think this is the Eight of Pentacles from the Wild Unknown, because there's something actually connecting everything in this universe. And it was probably a part of that period where there was inflation, a massive expansion happening. So, if most of space is filled with this sort of dark matter or this unknown matter, it's telling us that there's forces at play and at work that we don't understand. In our own lives, these can be benevolent or good or beneficial forces. Just because something isn't right in front of us, isn't obvious, or hasn't been proven, does not mean that it isn't possible. And I often say, this is how science works. There's always questions, always theories, and then things to prove or disprove the theories. Science is full of questions. Faith, there's a really interesting movie from the late, I think it was in the 90s, the 80s or 90s, Contact, with Jodie Foster and Matthew McConaughey. Matthew McConaughey played a sort of preacher type person, and she was a scientist. And in her journey, she understood that faith and science could actually align. You could have faith in something and then try to prove it. Or you could try to be, so she was originally just scientific and needed proof, or she didn't believe. And the whole point of the movie is that believing can open up doorways to understanding, to proving, and to helping others see too. So I think that's one of the big opportunities for you. By the way, it's a really an amazing movie. I think people went to it expecting to see aliens, and that's not the point of it. It's not. It's actually about opening this sort of pathway into the unknown, and again, connecting with this sort of idea of hope, faith, and something that it's kind of cool that we don't understand everything. Wouldn't it be a boring world if it was all just a textbook? So we're on this journey of exploration. There are unseen blessings and unseen forces, many of which are benevolent. Let's connect with them, let's create with them, and let's make this an amazing month. Assume the best is possible and try to kind of connect to that sort of energy, that guiding light, if you will. If any of you are gardeners, you understand the importance of allowing something to have space. When I moved, the other day I was noticing one of my plants was root bound. It was so root bound that I had to take a hammer, kind of crack the pot open, and the roots were just tightly wound around the pot so that it was starting to die, and I knew something was wrong. So I got a pot a little bit bigger for it to grow in. If you get something too big, sometimes things won't blossom because they're putting all of their energy into root production and plant production. You have to get just the right space, giving yourself space to grow without overwhelming yourself. And I love this card from Wildwood, which is what we're going to use today. And it's I think it's called the Spark of Life, but for some reason it was caught off in this image. But when you get that spark, it can create this sort of wonderful moment of growth. But you need to feed it. Just like a fire, you would have to fan the flame to allow for your fire to grow. So this is the same sort of thing. Just enough, not too much, because with a plant, you can over or underwater it. You want to give it just enough. So with your dreams and with your goals in this moment in time, it's about giving just enough. Clearing your mind, clearing your schedule, clearing your space is also going to be really important as well, okay? So that is the message from this. Let's look at your final card here, and it is about expansion. So there is an interesting mechanic that is theorized. It's, again, not completely proven, but just like we're having inflation in our economy, there was a second or a little bit after, I think it was about a second after the Big Bang happened. Big Bang, again, also being a theory. But there was this moment where things didn't just expand at the same rate, but they went even faster. And that now has continued throughout time and space, so that the universe is expanding faster and faster and faster, to the point where one day we may not even be able to see one another. It's traveling so quickly. And it may even, there's different things. It'll either just keep going and going, or it could even rip itself apart. There's fantastic sort of theories when you look at how space works. There could also be a big bang and a big sort of like compression. And this is a process that happens again and again. Scientists don't know yet. Again, part of the fun part of this. If we focus on the expansion piece, an epiphany, which we just talked about, which is like a light bulb moment, could lead to other light bulb moments and all of this sort of increased excitement and energy and momentum. So all you need to do is kind of connect with that aha, and then many other aha moments will happen for you too. And it's like a catalytic moment where one after another. So if you've been stagnating, focus less on the stagnation and focus more on opening up the aha, because then when we start to look at outer space, time and space itself can be bent, right? By gravity, by big objects. So I often like to think of time as a sort of subjective thing in our lives. The more you focus on it, the bigger it becomes, the more stretched out it becomes, the less you do. The distance starts to shrink and time starts to go faster. When you were in school and fixating on getting to the next level, getting to the next degree, didn't it seem like it was taking forever? And then as you started to maybe, get a job, or maybe if you have a family or have other obligations, you look at your watch, the day goes by. You look at the calendar, the month flies by. It's because you're not focusing on it anymore. So to help time not be such an issue, focus more on what you're trying to do and how you feel while you're trying to do that. And time is not any longer the big thing. And instead, you're focusing on the world card here, which is all about expansion. Okay? So those are your powerful messages for today. Hope you enjoyed that portion. We're going to get started now on the Celtic Cross. So if you just joined, perfect timing. Again, this is going to be where we're looking at big energies coming through. One thing that I like to do is I don't focus solely on relationships. If I do that, by the way, I did an impromptu yesterday, it'll be its own sort of reading. In one of these readings, I give it space to grow and breathe and show whatever it needs to. So let me focus the camera here, and we're going to take a look now at your Celtic Cross, which will span the next 6 to 8 weeks, and see where that takes us. And let me just put my phone to the side so it doesn't distract us. All right. Let's get started. How's everyone doing today? Hopefully you're well. Thank you so much for being patient as I'm getting everything set up here. It does take a few moments to get used to a new space. I see a lot of scientists talking about waves and this and that. Okay, I'm just kind of using metaphors here. Standard disclaimer applies for this. I am not a scientist. So I'm just talking about the theory of expansion, and kind of go with me on that one. Be patient with me. I'm not I'm not an astrophysicist. I'm not Sheldon from Big Bang Theory. I see that in the comments there. So thanks for your understanding. But it's good to have scientists with me, so thank you. In fact, that's the whole point we were talking about with the whole Contact movie, was a combination of faith and science. We can learn from one another, so thanks. So people asking about my schedule. I have not posted it yet. I literally moved on Monday. I'm amazed that I'm even doing a reading today because I don't have internet. So I'm making the schedule up as I go, folks. It'll be towards the end of the month, Pisces. But I will try my best to post something today or tomorrow if I can. We got 2 cards for this. But I have a room filled with boxes over there. I don't have all of my stuff set up. So I'm just starting the schedule. So please become a part of the notification gang here, right here. Here we go. Opt into this and you'll see stuff, including when I post something on the community tab. And I do appreciate your patience while I'm getting set up. I'm trying my best to just sort of like go with the flow. So I ask that you do the same. For the past 2 or 3 months, I've had to be very flexible with my schedule, where normally I was very regimented. And it's kind of fun. This past couple of days, I've been able to do some impromptus. And sometimes it's good not to be so tied down to this date, this time, etc. But I will get those dates for you, and I appreciate the question. Thanks for the nudge. All right, let's go ahead now and begin with your catalyst card. So your catalyst card is a good sense of humor here. This is basically connected to the Fool or the 6 of Cups or the Sun card. So we have the comic here in this Wild Unknown Archetypes deck here. And basically it's saying one thing that's going to help you is not taking life too seriously, or having a sense of humor about things that are outside of your control. And so that's what I've been trying to do myself too. I'm using, like I said, my phone to do this streaming this morning. Or you just go with the punches here. And if you can laugh at something and think, well, that could have gone better, but it could have gone a lot worse, it helps, right? So find things also that create joy in your life. Yes, even going and listening to some sort of a stand-up comedian or watching a movie that brings a smile to your face. All of these things are important, because if we are too serious, if we take things way too seriously, then we lose the ability to be objective, and it just sort of gets heavy, right? So that's great advice, and I'm going to try to live by it this month as well, okay? Looking at the center cards, actually have some really great stuff. So we have the 6 of Cups, speaking of ways to create joy, because 6 of Cups is often you and a friend, you and a brother or sister, or someone from the past that you love a lot. And we then have the Knight of Pentacles on top of this, showing that this is going to pick up or develop a little bit more. I see a relationship growing. So let's start with the 6 of Cups. So traditionally, this would be a boy and a girl, 2 children. It can represent twin or sibling energy. It can represent divine twins or soulmates. It can also be a best friend, because it just feels like family or friendship or love or all of that kind of put together. So right now you have a chance to create that, or if you read the caption here, it says reunion. So maybe you're reconnecting with someone from the past, and we see a couple of, I think they're otters on the side there. So that's beautiful. Partnership energy is key. Look at my impromptu. If there's someone in your life that you're thinking about, take a look at that and see what they're thinking about in respect to you. But in a broader perspective, this is saying, I look at partner cards, especially 6 of Cups and Lovers, because they're 2 of the best, 2 of Cups as well. I look at those 3 cards as being different types of magnet. I would say the 6 of Cups is better than the 2 of Cups as far as strength goes. Lovers, Lovers would be even stronger than that. But with this, I would say it's right in the middle. So you have this capacity for really good ability to bring in what you're looking for. It could be you presenting an idea to someone and them just really vibing with your energy, maybe even more than the idea. And it's like, you know what? I have some questions on this, but I really like you and I like what you're bringing to this. So I'll set up a meeting and we can talk more about this. So really focus on breaking the ice, creating a rapport, and letting the heart energy come through in a way that's not overwhelming, but really kind of puts something special into what you're trying to say or do. That's how you can use the 6 of Cups energy, because at the very least, you might be making a new friend in this sort of connection, but you might be doing much more, and that could be really exciting for you. So partnership energy is literally at the heart of your spread and central to your success this month, okay? Knight of Pentacles right on top of it. Because of that connection, something else wonderful will happen. This is connected to resources, so there could be a new job opportunity. This person might want to invest their heart, their energy, their time in you, but we're seeing investment and interest in you because of your personality, because of what you have to offer, because of the type of relationship energy that you're starting to build with that person. So that's fantastic, folks. If you've been waiting for something new to come into your life, this horse is galloping in without anybody atop of it. So you might see something that needs a little bit of work, but it's, for those of you looking for a home or a job or some opportunity, it's kind of like a diamond in the rough here. Because a wild steed would then need to be trained to be able to be something that you could ride. So this is going to require a little bit of sharpening, a little bit of work, a little bit of perfection. But if you're willing to do the work, it looks like it's worth the ride, basically, is what I see here, okay? So maybe not something that's signed, sealed, and delivered, but something that's really close and that could prove to be very rewarding if you put in a little bit of work, okay? Let's take a look at past lessons, past opportunities that are affecting this moment in time. So we have the beautiful 8 of Pentacles down here, and in the slideshow that I had earlier, the cosmic web was an 8 of Pentacles. And basically it's showing that the work that you do can create this new network of opportunity that you wouldn't even know about or imagine unless you were to embark upon it. So this is a really good time to learn. It's a really good time to expand your mind. And that expansion, just like the universe, can hit this moment where it goes even further. So you can have that aha moment. Read, research, watch. I'm just looking at the magical 222 that popped up with people watching. So this is definitely a sign from the universe that it's a good time for you to connect. To also showing partnership energy. So I'm just paying attention to that as well. All right, we see skill being a part of the caption there. So focusing on feeling like you are comfortable in your skin and with what you're doing and what you're saying is going to be key. I always like this card because there's a helping hand on the side. Don't be afraid to ask for help or to lend help, particularly when it comes to perfecting something or working on something. By the way, thanks so much for all the lovely support. I see that in the chat. I'll say thanks to anybody that does a super sticker at the end, but I do see it. Thank you. Okay, so far so good. We have partnership energy, things that can basically expand from that partnership energy, a great time for you to work on yourself. Now we have the first challenge card. Let me just scan the other ones and see if we've got any other ones. I think it's your soul challenge card this month is going to be recent past. So some of you are still cleaning up or learning about this. So this is something we do need to focus on for just a moment. But it's quickly going to lead to a card of manifestation with the 2 of Wands. So first things first. You have the 2 of Pentacles. It literally says challenge on this card, which is interesting. The challenge in the 2 of Pentacles is balancing time, energy, money, love, basically work-life balance or balance between something that you care about and something else. So I always like to remind folks, you can't see it in this card, but typically you would have a person that was kind of holding 2 coins in their hands. And they're almost asking themselves, which one feels more important, feels more developmental, feels more like that's where their heart wants to go. The choice, the opportunity is to say more of this or solely this, and then I'm going to let this go or I'm going to delegate this so that I can focus on creating, sparking something new, allowing something to grow. And that's really what this is. What do you want to see the most growth in? Where are you feeling most connected? This is always an ace, 2 aces, and you just have to choose. If you can't let one go, then you enter into the 6 of Pentacles or 7 of Pentacles lesson, which is saying, I'll do 60-40 or 70-30. I'll put most of my energy into one, and not as much here, and that's okay because it's not as important. Okay? That scheduling and that prioritization is going to be so important because when we go to your crowning card, we have the amazing 2 of Wands. I had a really cool reading yesterday with Aries, and we got like the 2 of Wands and the High Priestess. We got the Magician and the 3 of Wands. It was this beautiful connection. But this is a cousin or a sister card to the High Priestess. So whenever I see this, I know that manifestation is right around the corner. I can taste it, and so can you. So all you have to do is hold firm to your idea. Look at how strong and powerful this 2 of Wands is. He doesn't need to hold the world because it's right. He feels it, he sees it, he's looking at it, and he's saying, I'm going to do this. Not like I want to do this or I can see that this is possible, but I'm going to do this. And I gave yesterday's sign, Aries, a mantra. I think it was Aries. I can, I will, and I am. The I am piece is important. So let's even make it more active. Not just I will, which still has a future tense to it, but I am. Present is more powerful. So I am doing this. This is happening. This is real. This is. If you can get into that present tense manifestation mantra, then it will happen. Timelines are, again, not the big concern. If you want to put now, you can do this. This will happen now. I am ready now. And by now, I mean now. The universe has a very weird sense of time. Our guides, our angels, our ancestors, the spirits of those that have passed, they don't perceive time in the same way. So you have to kind of sometimes punctuate it by like, right now, show me. Because if you say soon, soon is a very vague term for spirit. Okay, so if you're ready now, say you're ready now. Not as a demand, but as a declaration. That's also important. Spirit doesn't want demands. All right, let's take a look here. By the way, with this, brainstorming, vision boarding, talking it out, writing it out, whatever you want to do to kind of solidify it, that also helps. I love what's coming through here. For those of you that are seeking love, it's a good month for love, folks. We have Six of Cups, the Queen of Cups, and we also have the Sun card, which is very attractive. The Sun card and the Magician are really good charisma cards. They're really good chemistry cards. So I'm feeling pretty good about what you're bringing to the equation here, okay? So let's focus on the Queen of Cups first, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so with the Queen of Cups card, it looks to me almost like, yeah, it is salmon. Thank you. Thank you, deck creator, for writing that. So the interesting thing about salmon is it has to spawn upstream, I believe. And it also, I think it goes from like saltwater to freshwater or vice versa. Again, not a biologist. But you might have to pull yourself out of your environment and push a little bit to make something happen. Your passion will help you push through a barrier, and then that passion will bear fruit. In the case of salmon, they're going to create the next generation of fish. But for you, you are going to, it's almost like this is it is a queen card, so there's abundance in it already. So yes, the fertility element is there, but to tap into or to access the fertility, what we need to do is to push through a perceived barrier and say to the universe, I want this enough that I'm willing to go the distance. And that's the main message here. And yes, love is coming in for some of you. It may come in at an inconvenient, unexpected, or unconventional time. It may come through when you are not in your comfort zone. You could be at the grocery store not looking your best and someone's interested in you. You could be at work and there could be an advance, and it's up to you if this is something you want to go forward with or not. But what I'm getting is an element of surprise. It does look like it's okay because I have the Six of Cups here. It's just like you might be thinking, I wish I'd worn something else. I wish I had combed my hair, or what am I going to do? I'm not ready. Things are moving fast. Just go with it. They're not focusing on all of these things. You are, not them. So focus on the fact that someone's finding you interesting when you think you're not at your best or you're not ready for it. The reason that that's happening, by the way, is because they're just looking at you in your element. This is you. I'm looking at the Soul card this month, and it's the sun, and it's you just shining. So if you're laughing with friends, if you're working really hard, if you're connected to some sort of social activity that you care a lot about or community activity, it's you connecting to the source that's lighting you up like a light bulb that is making you so engaging. It's not how wonderful your hair, your clothes, or anything else looks. It's you from the inside out shining like a light bulb. So that's all that matters. Don't dim the light with doubt. Just smile back and have a conversation. For the rest of you, when we're not looking at this could also be a chance meeting that could open up a new job. It could be a new friendship that could be blossoming. You're in a good space this month. So Taurus, I want you to be bold and trust in your energy to just sort of like shine whenever you have to, okay? You could also be put into that sort of limelight, almost like you're put in the hot seat. Someone says, hey, what do you think about this? Or I'd like you to try something. And you're just going to say, okay, I'll go with it. If you need some insight or need some advice, you can always ask questions, of course. But I think there's some advantages to leaning in and seeing what you can do, okay? Because you're detached, it's happening. something that you're not expecting. It's positive, folks. It's not love for everybody. This is just something that your heart connects to. And this is someone that's connecting to you because you're focusing on something else and they're just interested. So we're seeing this really nice connection that's happening because you're authentic, because you're available, because your light is shining. Let's not question it. I like what I see. And I think the most important thing for you is to be what? Open-minded. We're going to move from one queen to another here. By the way, for new folks that are looking, or for folks that are looking for a new relationship, we have evenly matched energy. I really like it when we get 2 kings or 2 queens. One is very sensitive. One is very thoughtful, but tends to be locked into their thoughts. Let's focus on you first, and then when I do love in a few moments here, we can dig a little deeper on how that might play out. As an aspect of you and this month, as we're looking in the environment, make sure that you're listening. When I look at this hair card for the Queen of Wands, I'm always like, yes, I hear you, I see you. So pay attention. There's something that's going on, and if you're spending all of your time talking, then you're going to miss something big. Listen, not necessarily to gossip or anything of that nature, but listen to the general sort of energy of what's going on around you, and make sure that if somebody's consistently saying something, or there might be a great idea in the larger group, that bubbles up so people can do something about it, okay? So if you listen, if you're open-minded, if you try something different, then you can kind of connect with the natural boss energy that is always a part of the Queen of Wands, and you can do something amazing. And that's really what this is opening up for you. The main thing here is, because this is in your environment, there could be someone that isn't listening to your good idea, because this isn't necessarily just you. I look at environment cards as mirrors, so it could be things that you're working on, just like I did with the partnership reading yesterday. But looking at it solely as an environmental thing, this would be a mom, a boss, a parent, a friend, someone that you care about or that you have to work with that isn't listening. They're in their head. They're like, but they're not really it's not clicking. So you might need to give them something that they can read or look at later. You may need to ground them later and say, I know we were busy and we talked about this earlier. I want to make sure that you heard this, this, and this. They'll be like, wait, what? And just say, refer to the email. I'm going to send it back to you just so you can take a look at it. This is actually a great thing that you could do. After a conversation where someone's half in, half out, just follow up with an email. Say, thank you so much. It was great to connect today. I was really excited when we talked about this. There's a couple of things that I'd like to follow up on with you this week. Let me know when you have time. Here are the items. That's it. Now they have a takeaway. Now they are like, oh, did we talk about that? Oh yeah, we definitely need to figure this out. So assume the best, be grateful, but then say, by the way, did you get this? Are you sure on the deadline? And they're going to appreciate the fact that you didn't necessarily call out the fact that they weren't listening, but you're giving them a little bit of a padding there. And it's a nudge, like, tune in. We got some important stuff to do. And that's what you're going to have to do with, especially if it is a boss or if it is a parent or a superior. We do want to exercise respect for position, and you don't want to be insubordinate, and you don't want to appear in, just that you're not appreciating them, basically. So I think the key thing here is walking that delicate line of nudging them, supporting them, and then letting them do what they need to do, and you've covered yourself if you need to, okay? And that's pretty much everything that we need to look at in the environment. Looking at health, I'm sorry, I was doing the expanded here for a second. So now looking at hope, spheres, and opportunity. I like this a lot. This is saying that if you work hard enough, there could be a breakthrough. So the 9 of Wands is a card of perseverance. This particular card shows someone that's ready to come through, and they're using the element of surprise to finish something off. We also see the respect message that I talked about earlier. Let me choose I'm going to pull the original 9 of Wands here from Rider-Waite-Smith just to kind of help you, because that's a very odd card, and I want to show a couple of things with the 9 of Wands. Here it is. First thing is, it feels sometimes like it's never going to happen, but we talked earlier about how time, when you fixate on it, tends to stretch out. So focus more on how far you've come and how close you are to the 10 of Wands moment, which is graduation, completion, and that next big thing. Focus also on your health. We see in the head area a bandage. What can happen with 9 of Wands moments in our lives is we've been working really, really hard, and all of a sudden it just feels like brain freeze or a block, or you can even have like a headache or a migraine or something, because it's just sort of like overload. So if we go back to your catalyst, which will help you finish or help you open up, we have this funny looking cat and the word comic on it. Do something that is going to help you release some of the steam and some of that anxiety and some of that energy. That will help. That will help you also like celebrate. If this could be a great team building energy. So if you are working in more of a company environment, you could surprise them and let them know you've been working really hard, we're nearly there. Back when I used to work in startups and .com companies in the early 2000s, they would a lot of times like order food in. They would expect you to work ridiculous hours, but they would also try to reward you or bribe you with some of these things. And so it did make a difference. It did make it a little bit better. So yeah, celebrate the victory so far and give people an incentive to get to the finish line. Okay? Also in a race, people would be doing this too. You have people cheering, giving people water or food or electrolytes or whatever so that they can get through that last bit. And that's what you have to focus on right now. But this is a pushy card in the best way. So if something isn't moving, you can move it through to the finish line. It just takes some elbow grease, and it's a very short fuse on how long you can do this. A few days, a few weeks, but you're going to need a break. So there's a little bit of a push, and we saw it here with the Queen of Cups, but it's well worth it, and it's a fruitful effort, okay? So just take care of yourself in the process and don't burn out. That's one thing that is super important. All right, so that was hopes, fears, and opportunities. As we look here at what's coming through for your outcome, it's fantastic. We have the Ace of Pentacles. It's reversed, but it's okay. I actually see Ace of Pentacles reversed as a positive card because it's saying, by the way, the caption on that is Foundation of Life. They use stones for pentacles in this deck, but when it's reversed, it's saying, I've worked hard to achieve something. I want to do something with that. I want to invest in myself. So some of you are taking a bold stroke right now and saying, what have I saved all of this for, if not to go to school, to travel, to put an expansion on the house or whatever? You're deciding to give back to yourself a little bit. And if you've worked hard, that's good. This could also be deciding to go back to school, because this is an investment card and this is a learning card. This could also be finishing school, because this was in the deep past. And one of the center cards, as we saw, was a reunion or going back to something. So this is a chance for you to finish something that you started. And that's always a good thing, and especially in this particular case. Okay? Great. The other thing that I would say with this is some of you may have just lost the focus or grounding in why you're doing something. And when we go back to this card where it's sort of like, why am I working so hard? You're working so hard because ... only you can answer that. But you want to go back to what the original focal point was. And then when you're, instead of saying, will I ever finish, go to I will finish, this is getting done. And kind of, again, go from question to future tense to present tense. That's kind of how I work with manifestation. Okay? So I like what I see, don't you? I think this is a great month so far. We're going to expand the forecast in a second, but just looking at this, your headspace is in the right place. The Two of Wands, possibilities. The outcome is very good. I'll take an ace card no matter which direction it shows up. So that looks good. The near future, yeah, you're going to work against the grain a little bit, but it's going to be worth it. So the main thing here is to stay focused, to see that final point, and then just to push. You got two cards of pushing. People are drawn to you, though, and you have assistance while you're doing this. The only thing that can get you off path is by focusing on something that's not important. It could be feedback, it could be fears, but you have a stellar spread of cards here, okay? Let's go ahead and now expand the forecast. We're going to look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. This gives us a chance to drill a little bit deeper, to get a little bit more finely tuned in each of these aspects of your life, okay? So let's take a look at your health card. And it says life is a mystery. Yes, it is. And that goes back to the sort of big talk that we had about space earlier and not knowing everything. The Bobcat carries with it, though, this sort of amazing speed. The card was in reverse, so I'm going to read this almost as if it were a Knight of Swords in reverse, because swords and knight cards would be very fast with movement. And when we're looking at a slowdown here that'll help you a little bit. So what I like to see when a Knight card is reversed is that not that action won't happen, but that there's an intentional pause that you choose to make in order to better organize your energy and your effort. So for your better health, it's basically saying slow the pace down just a little bit. Get a little bit more rest. Focus a little bit more on where the energetic investment is going to be better served, and then make that decision now so that everything will pick up. Going again to space and the expansion, there was that moment where things started to go faster. It was slower first, then it was faster. Take a little pause and realize you can speed things up. But it's important to be mindful and very sort of smart about how you're working and investing that, okay? And that's the main thing that I'm seeing here. Listen to your instincts. Try not to have a fight or flight mode, because cats have this sort of ability to kind of like quickly jump from point A to point B. So try to be not too reactionary would be the other thing. All right, now we're going to look at some deeper health messages. I always like to disclaim this portion to say I'm here as a intuitive, as a medium, as a tarot reader to help you look at energy and how that affects your mind, body, and spirit. But if there's anything physically or mentally going on, work with the proper professional. All right, disclaimers out of the way. Let's look at the cards. So this card, as I mentioned earlier, can indicate fatigue, mental fatigue. So you may just be burned out and need a vacation. You could have a migraine, in which case you definitely want to talk to a doctor. You could also be drinking too much coffee. Maybe there's caffeine headaches and things like that. Whatever it is, the brain needs a break. The gray matter is worked out. So take care of your mind. It is the most important piece of our body because it's the CPU and it needs to keep everything running. So that's step one as I look at everything here. Also, for some of you, it looks like you might be working out a little bit because this card, both of these cards show pushing, like strength building, or maybe that it would behoove you, again with the approval and the guidance of a professional or a trainer, to work on that sort of stuff, and the approval of your doctor, of course. But these are pushing yourself so that you're stronger. The stronger that the body is, the better channel we can be, like the magician. So we can pull more energy through our system when we are healthier, when we are stronger. And we're also not as susceptible to environmental stress or other people's energies, or even their thoughts when we're stronger. Let's see what else we're seeing. Balance issues can be a part of the Two of Pentacles, not as much as I would see with Five of Pentacles, but it can be there. So if you are having any balance issues, an immediate need to also talk to the doctor. But it could also be you haven't eaten enough. Make sure that you're eating meals properly as you're working through all of this stuff. I know when I was moving, there wasn't enough time, and I'm like, I need to get food now. So I bought food for the movers and for me, and I said, take a break. I'm paying you, but we all need a break to drink and to eat. So take some time when you're doing that to make sure that you don't lose your balance. Work-life balance as well. It's not all about the deadline. Some things can wait. Just find that balance in your life so that you don't sort of lose your even footing or your grounding. Everything else looks good, folks. You have a really great month ahead. Some of you might need to get your ears cleaned, or you might be having some issues with hearing, so you can get that checked out. But otherwise, I like what I see here. Okay? Let's move on from your health card to your wealth card. So very interesting energy here. So the raccoon, I like scavenger cards when I'm looking at abundance, because you can read it in different ways. So what's cool about a raccoon is he digs in places he probably shouldn't, but he finds things, and he's kind of scrappy, and he's like, oh, I can use this, I can use this. You don't want that? I'll take it. So we had a vulture yesterday, so it's a very similar energy. So like the raccoon, if you dig around enough, you're going to find some hidden resources, some gems, some diamonds in the rough. So if you feel like I'm not having enough, look a little bit more. I see that there's maybe something that you've underestimated or that you're not allocating correctly. This can also be as simple as like trimming some things, like I'm not using this service, so I'm going to cut that, like streaming service or something. And you can find efficiencies and make things more affordable just by being smart about your budget. Now, raccoons do go where they shouldn't be going. So I would say if there's someone in your life and they snoop, you want to kind of increase your security. when it comes to financial documents, where you keep your valuables, where you keep your credit cards. If you're at work and there's anything that's secure that has an NDA attached to it, that stuff should be locked away or put in a file cabinet and away from prying eyes. More often than not, this is something that you can avoid. There's someone that's just snooping around a little bit. So don't make it easy for them to find what they're looking for. Let them go somewhere else, just the same way that we would lock a door before we go to sleep. Do the same thing here. Lock something away that you care about, because I see some snooping eyes. and be careful about who you talk to, some sort of new idea or project about, because that could get out there. That's all this is. Completely avoidable. Just with a little bit of precaution, something you care about, put it in a safe space. Something that is supposed to be secret, keep it secret. Because basically this could also just be a 3 of Cups, gossip. The gossip mill is going to spread this, and you don't want to be sort of like the source of that, and people coming back and saying, why did you talk about that? I thought this was supposed to be under wraps. Okay, let's look at some other messages with respect to your wealth and what's coming through for you. Well, I really like that we have 2 positive cards when it comes to money or resources. 8 of Pentacles telling me that you've worked hard in the past to create this, and then the Ace of Pentacles telling me that things are coming through in a really exciting way here for the future as well. I'm going to wait a second here because I'm looking at my monitor. Am I pausing a little bit, or how is the, hopefully you can see me all right. Let me know if the display is coming through okay, because I'm just looking at the side and hopefully it is. But as I'm looking at the 8 of Pentacles and the Ace of Pentacles, I would say the main and the most important thing for you to be focusing on in this moment in time is continuing to, again, finish what you've started. Whatever you've started on, whatever you've set into motion, I see it really completing in a wonderful way here. Okay, thank you so much, Yvette, for confirming that. The main challenge here is that you could be pulled in 2 different directions. 2 different directions, and what you want to do is say, this is what's important to me. This is what I need to do. And again, remember the 60-40, 70-30 split. You can't do everything for everyone, and that is the hardest part, isn't it? We so often want to just make everybody happy, and so if I could give you one thing this month as a blessing, I would say, and we're going to look at blessings and blocks, but just as a guidepost, it's that you can't make everyone happy. So do what you need to do, be proactive and communicative about progress, and just let it go at some point, and just trust that people are either going to. Sometimes there's like a codependency that's been put into place, right? Where people just are used to getting something and they want to keep getting that. So you're just kind of setting that into motion. I love that we have the 2 of Wands here in your crowning position, because it's saying you will and you are completing what you set out to complete. So that's exciting, folks. Let me see if there's anything else we need to look at here. We have boss energy. So if you're willing and ready to step up to the plate, people will listen to you. There could be a little bit of challenge with this, though. We have 2 queens. So when we have 2 queens in a work environment, what happens a lot of times is it's kind of like we have to find a way to successfully coexist. It's like when 2 world leaders meet, there's different protocol. They respect each other, but they both secretly think, I'm the most powerful, or something like that. So what you want to do is realize that we are both bringing something wonderful to this, and just give and take. That's the biggest challenge here, is that, and I think there's going to be a level of compromise for some of you, but figure out what the big thing is that you need, and then do your best to try to help them see how this is going to be a good thing, okay? Great. Thank you so much for everyone that chimed in and let me know, because I'm looking on 2 different devices. I'm using one to stream and another one to monitor it, but the other one isn't working, so it doesn't matter. As long as you can see me, we're good. All right, let me see if there's anything else. Last thing is, if you want to go for something, this is a good month to invest. I would say the important thing here with this is understanding that you're going to have to put more in to basically... So it's basically going to be, initially, it'll cost more and require more, but I do see a return on it. So make sure that you have the contingency and the measurement of everything that you need to sort of like allow for that growth to happen, okay? All right. Let me see what else is going on here. I think that's it, folks. I think it's a pretty good month overall for you. One last thing, and we talked about this at the very beginning, is partnerships. So if you're not looking for love, this is telling me that you have a hidden ally somewhere. They might even see that you've got a lot going on, that you're facing a challenge. They can come through and help you solve it quickly. So be open to partnering up with someone. As partners, this is really compatible energy. This is someone who is sensitive, creative, and is willing to put in the work. This is someone who is not afraid to roll up their sleeves, be the boss, and get things done. And they won't accept no for an answer. So if you can align, the two of you have this magical sort of, complementary energy. There's a little bit of competition, but you can get a lot done together if you're willing to do that. Okay? One message that comes through is make it worth their while. Pay them more than adequately, generously would be a better word, so that this competition goes away and they're like, yeah, it's worth it. This is great. Okay? Let's now take a look at love. Wow, what a beautiful card to come through for love. I would have probably chosen a different word than drunkenness. I would have probably said bliss. So let's use a different word here, divine bliss, because we really don't want to go to like substance abuse in these cards. So divine bliss, and it says surrender to your spiritual reverie. So if we think of bliss and the bliss that would come through with the Six of Cups, it could be an intoxication. I get what they're going after. Like when something truly happens, don't lose yourself in it. I don't want to completely negate what the card creator put in that. So, but I would say bliss and possibly intoxication. But what could happen here is you could be focusing so much on the joy of your life or your partnership that you might forget that other people are going through a difficult moment. So you want to be really kind and sensitive about your own situation. And you want to make sure that you don't lose touch with the people that matter to you. Friends, family, coworkers, especially if there is new love, or even if it's existing love and there's a lot of focus on that relationship. Because that's your chosen family. That's the extended family. And what I'm getting here is that they may miss you a little bit. But on the bright side, it's a good month to have fun. It's a good month to express and explore love. And you could have a great time in doing that. This can also be for those of you that are single and creative. This could be this big channel of energy coming through, and you're just going to have almost more in that sort of wellspring than you can deal with. It's like, what do I do with all of this inspiration? To answer your question, you're going to record it, write it down, decide, like, I see all of this stuff, but this one of these things or two of these things are worth my energy. I can't do it all at once, but just get the recording out. It's like an artist that does a demo. They'll just sometimes all the songs come to them at once. They can perfect them later. So just kind of go through and get everything down on paper, and then from there you can decide what to put your energy into. All right, let's focus on love, folks. We're going to look at 3 different aspects. If you're in a relationship, if you're looking for a relationship, or if you're single and happy. Again, as a complement to this, I did an impromptu this week, so you can find that on my main channel page, and I also put it on social media. 1 card for each of the signs. It's good for the next couple weeks. And if you like that, I'll do more of those. But let's focus on what's coming through for you, for love, looking at existing relationships. You know, I really love what I see here at the core here. So you really can't go wrong with the Six of Cups here, because it's saying we got together initially because we were friends. There was friendship first, then love entered in. Or we developed this deep, deep relationship after we met, and I ended up, who knew it, but I was marrying my friend. So that's good. But we have some challenges coming through, and some of you are working harder, some of you might be traveling for work, some of you are focusing on other things, and the same thing that I was talking about here, maybe one of you so engrossed in something else that you've neglected the other party. And so what we're seeing here is to invest and to make some plans together. Plan a trip, plan something, it doesn't matter. Whatever you want to do, make a plan for time together, a date night for sure, the Two of Wands could be. I see a good, fruitful connection when that happens. Queen of Cups is a great card to come through for that. Don't overthink it, just go with it, go with the flow. And I still see attraction and connection for most of you. The one thing that I would say for those of you that are feeling like, you know what, the thrill is gone, it shouldn't be so much work. I've talked about this before. When it comes to relationships, there should be this sort of ease about the time when you finally do decide to sort of sit down and spend time together. It just feels right. It's like, this is where I need to be. This is perfect. So once you give yourself that time and that space, it should be easy. If it isn't, or if they refuse to do it, pay attention to how hard this is. You shouldn't have to work this hard, 9 of Wands hard, to make everything happen. That's too much effort on your part. So if that's happening for some of you, that's the uh-oh moment. And then that's where you probably need to, do a couples counseling session or something like that, because it's beyond the two of you. But for everyone else, it's just a matter of reorganizing your calendar a little bit, spending some time, and doing something fun, just as friends, as lovers, as people that have created a life together. Just have some time. Don't make it about a grocery list, a doctor, picking up the kids, taking the dog for all that stuff. No, just spend some time, an hour or two together doing something fun. And that's going to make a big difference. More of that in every day and in every week. It shouldn't be the exception to the rule. It should be the rule. Every day there should be a little bit of couple time, a little bit of special time. And that will help, because it feels like one or the other partner is missing that. All right, for those of you looking for love this month, we already talked about it. It's organic and it's unplanned. So the best thing that you can do is keep your eyes and ears open as we look at this hair with gigantic ears. Keep your ears open, keep working hard, and most importantly, be passionate about what you're doing. What I see in my mind's eye is laughter or hard work or this sort of divine drunkenness, being sort of lost in the action of doing something else. And the partner looks at you and thinks, wow, look at how connected they are to source, to life. But you don't want to be so connected that you miss. So keep an eye and an ear open. Love comes in unexpected times, places, and maybe even faces. It's not the normal sort of type that you would expect, but there's a legitimate connection. So honor that. And that's the best piece of advice that I can give you, is that it's there, but it's coming when you least expect it. And I do see really lovely energy here. Both are powerful. One is bossier, one is more sensitive. That's maybe the chief challenge here. It looks like the person you're pulling in, because it's environmental, is the bossier of the two. So you'll just have to kind of focus on how to navigate that. But there you go. All right, if you are single and happy, great month for career growth. Fantastic month for career growth. Really good month for making new friends, though. And if you haven't talked to someone in a while, they're very open to hearing from you. So this is a good time to reconnect and to have that reunion. But people want to buy whatever it is that you're trying to sell when it comes to projects, properties, ideas. So this is a very fruitful month. People are at the center of it, so you can't hermit this month. You want to lean into that and just put yourself out there and trust that they're going to vibe with your energy. Okay? I'm really excited about what's coming through for you. I think it's good across all the different facets. Let's take a look now at Destiny. Destiny, you got 2 cards, so I wanted to honor them. They're reversed, but let's just look at them upright first. So first we have the Pearl Threaded. It reminds me of Morning Glory. I now have some Morning Glory growing around my garage area, and it's beautiful, because what I love about Morning Glory is every day there's a new flower. It only lasts one day. It opens, closes, and then another one opens and closes. And so it reminds you to make the most of every day when you look at Morning Glory. You're not going to see that same flower tomorrow. And so we see this pearl here, and every day kind of opens up one of these valuable pearls of wisdom or opportunities. So let's make the most of it, because it exists for a day and a day alone. This day is precious. There's something precious about this moment. So yeah, I really like that illustration, because I don't know if it was a Morning Glory, but that's how I'm reading it. And a pearl is precious. And if you can see the precious moment here, it's going to bring you to another one. So gratitude, basically this is almost like a string of gratitude, bringing more of that energy. So be grateful, be present, stop and smell the flowers, something that Sleeping Apollo always does. He's so chill in this new place. I love it. He always does his digging in the bed at the beginning, but he's just chilling out in the background, and I can tell his stress level went way down, as did mine. All right. So have you sensed a theme here? We have the rings of time here, which reminds me of what you would see in like a tree or a plant. And we talked earlier about how subjectively sometimes time feels like it is. And it really is a construct in this dimension. And if you were to be around a different mass, like a black hole, it does operate differently. Or if you travel at the speed of light, time and space and everything kind of bends a little bit. So don't focus so much on these fixated points. And I get it, Taurus, like I have a Taurus in Moon, and sometimes we really want things to just be understandable. I'm looking for that solid energy in like relationships and things that I care about, and sometimes you just have to flow with it and trust that everything in a cosmic time and space, every day is a blessing, even days that bring about challenges, because we learn from those, because then the days that are free of challenges feel euphorically, amazingly divine, and we can be drunk in that sort of divine bliss, right? Great stuff. We're going to move now to your big idea. The big idea, of course, is one umbrella message that's going to help you maximize the energy of this moment in time. Let's see what it is. Nine of Pentacles. Lots of, gosh, you guys are so close to getting something done. To me, that's really heartening, really exciting. So the Nine of Pentacles is one of the most beautiful cards in tarot, not only in this deck, but I'll pull up the traditional one. What we see him here holding is an Ouroboros snake, where the tail and the head are connected, and then also another snake. A lot of power in this particular card, and then all these sort of lovely Stonehenge-esque stones in the background. But what this card normally signifies is not just abundance, but sustainable abundance, and abundance that will basically last the test of time. So let's pull the card up here from Rider-Waite-Smith, and then I'll highlight another message here, but I'll talk about it while I'm doing it. The main thing with this is that we often have this impatience, like it has to happen now. And what the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith card teaches us is patience is actually what's going to make this foolproof. So looking way at the bottom there, you see the little tiny snail, right? I'll try to get some light on it so you can see it better. There we go. So there's a snail right there. So that little snail is indicating slow and steady. And then we see all of the rich grapes in the background, sort of ready for the picking, ripe for the picking, and different birds depending on the deck there. But basically, she's listened to her higher self. She's had time to build this lovely abundance. And because she's learned her lessons, because she understands how to prioritize, how to measure things out, how to spend, when to spend, it's all going to be okay. So the message this month is patience is the important thing. Mindfulness is the important thing. Working hard will pay off. But I see more money and more abundance coming in for you. Your deep past was the Eight of Pentacles, and Nine of Pentacles indicates slow but steady growth. If we just take the snail and add one here, it's saying, I see an improvement. It may not be exponentially, but it's enough to show that you're treading in the right direction. Slow and steady is better than erratic up and down, right? That's why the stock market can be scary. You can gain a lot over time, but you have to be willing to go with these ups and downs and spikes, where other types of investments will be slow and steady. This growth is going to be sustainable and predictable, and that's important when it comes to being able to live and being able to plan, okay? So that's what I see coming through for you. Let's move on now to your blessings and your blocks. We'll pull one card for blessings and blocks, and we'll kind of break it down and see what the universe has to say. Blessing, block. Okay, so let me take a quick drink as I'm getting ready for this. And your blessing card, very much aligned with the Queen of Cups here. We have the Knight of Cups. So your flexibility, because we're looking at the eel here, your flexibility is going to help things go faster. So The bobcat I interpreted earlier as kind of like a Knight of Swords reverse, which is saying I'm going to slow down my action, I'm going to stop talking for a minute and listen, and I'm going to see if there's a place where I could bend. The Knight of Cups is going to bring with you this feeling like, yes, it's not exactly how I envisioned it. It's not exactly what I wanted. If I bend here, if I compromise here, then I can actually get something here that I want. So your flexibility pays off. You can go places that others can't because you're willing to take risks, or you're willing to compromise, or you're willing to sort of just feel it out as you need to. And that's going to pay off in the long run. Flexibility, empathy, and sort of being able to give and take a little bit. Good blessing. Your block is not a block at all, except that you might be expecting it to happen in a certain way, shape, or form. And this is really interesting. For those of you that are intuitive, we have the seer or the high priestess here. So here's what can be really interesting with being very awake. You can see things sometimes a decade in advance. And so when you see something coming, you still have to live your life. The timing isn't always solid or predictable. And the universe is just preparing you for something better or something challenging. I'll give an example, like my mom who passed away a few months ago. I had a feeling for a couple of years that transition was close, but it wasn't, there was nothing showing up, and there was no way for me to quantify when or how, but the fact that my guides were coming through and the angels were coming through to tell me that I needed to make the most of the time, that was all that was important. I didn't need necessarily like a date on a calendar. In fact, that would be morose and difficult to deal with. Instead, I just made sure that because I knew time was shorter than it was before, that I would not leave arguments on the table. More than, like, if we got angry within an hour, I would pick up the phone and smooth things out, because I never wanted that to be our last exchange. I'd spend as much time as possible, and I did as much as I could. And then when she passed, I felt very free and very good about it, because even though she didn't know, I knew, and I did the best that I could with that. So sometimes if we see something as a seer, it's not always about telling the other person or doing something about it. It's like that was given to you so you could prepare for something and make it beautiful, something that could be challenging. You could see love coming into your life. The type of love that you see in your vision, focus on embodying that in your own life. So if you see someone that seems really stable, has a family, everything's put together, get your life together, get ready for that. So when that partner comes through, you're evenly met. They're showing you what's possible, your guides. So what you do is you meet that opportunity. The faster you meet it, the faster it happens. The slower you take, the longer it takes. It's still 9 of Pentacles. Remember, that was your overarching message. So slow and steady. Eventually, things will work out. You have the capacity to speed it up. You're not going to get to see the timeline always. Sorry to say. Guides don't give us everything. Most intuitives that are worth their weight in gold are going to say, the timeline is up to you, and the timelines will shift. Even Yoda in Star Wars said, the future's constantly in flux. I see one version of it, I see one thread of it, we get to decide what to do with that. So that's the thing as a seer, as an intuitive, you are constantly building and rebuilding your future. Don't get fixated on one time, one vision, one energy, because the blueprints keep changing, okay? The morning glory here told us that. So embrace that ambiguity and embrace that creative element, which is every day I can kind of shape it in a new way, shape, or form. Hopefully that helped you. That's a very sort of abstract message to come through, but I think it makes sense. Okay. Let's go ahead and shift now to the viewers and the readers' choices. This is a chance for both of us to look a little deeper at some of the things that matters the most. And by the way, I'm in a really good space with my mom, so thank you for those kind words. She's visited me a couple of times, and I feel every day her energy is going more and more and more into the light and into spirit. And one of the best things about being an intuitive, or just being a spiritual being, is that you know that there's more than this existence. And there's more than we understand in the universe. So that gives me great sense of calm, because I have a lot of family that's in spirit. My father, a lot of aunts and uncles, and I've had a lot of visitations from all of them, which is them saying, it's okay, like, keep doing what you're doing. Enjoy life. So to all of you out there that have lost someone, or maybe even you're just separated from someone, just know that that connection always exists. And it carries on through to the other side. In the movie Ghost, that was one thing that they definitely got right. As Patrick Swayze is transitioning, he says, the love, all of those memories you take with you. And you definitely do. And that's a cool thing. All right, let's look at viewers and readers' choice now. Give me a moment to set up the poll for you and to look at what's going on here. All right, so let's take a look here. I'm looking at the salmon going upstream, and I think one of the things that would be interesting is focusing on how and when to push a little more energetically. So figuring out where you want to push your energy. Messages around love, it's sort of like, we're going to leave, like it is unexpected. I'm just going to put here like relationship advice. Since we had the Six of Cups and we have a lot of Cups cards coming through, so just general relationship advice. Let's see here. Resource balancing is definitely important. All right, so there are some things for you to focus on. While you're focusing on that, let me see what I can help you with. Let's take a look here. Okay, I want to focus a little bit on the Nine of Pentacles here, which is the long-term goal. So how can you, let's not just like Nine of Pentacles, but Two of Wands, Ace of Pentacles, Nine of Pentacles. So let's look at how to accomplish your goals. That's what I'm going to sort of term it as. So how to best accomplish your goals. And we'll see what's coming through for you. So reader's choice, how to stay on track, how to best accomplish your goals here. So we have the hooded man here, and the card was reversed. This is the Hermit, so it's coming out of your shell. Some of you might be trying to do everything on your own. You might also know exactly what you want to do, but you've been afraid to be that authentic self with others. And this is basically saying, if not now, then when? This is your moment to really step into sharing, into being, into expressing that higher self. So we talked about the Six of Cups at the center. So sharing this insight with someone whom you truly trust, someone whom you might like to partner up with, that could be an amazing opportunity for expansion for you. Also, finding someone that would like to invest in this could also help, because that takes you from like the Nine of Pentacles into 10, which is expansion, which is sharing, which is production. So yeah, I see like the main message here is actually partnering up with someone or delegating to someone, and that's going to be something that helps. Don't dim your light. Don't try to change to please others. Instead, try to show them why being different, while this sort of unique approach is so cosmically important to doing what you need to do in this moment in time. All right, let's see what you've chosen for me. We have, with a pretty decent lead here, how and when to push a little bit more. So that's a great thing to look at. So let's shuffle the cards and see what's coming through. How and when to push your energy, to swim upstream. When it's worth investing and kind of burning the candle at both ends. We can't do that all the time, but from time to time we need to. Aha! This is my favorite card in this deck. The card came through reverse, but I don't know why I love the imagery on this one so much, but I do. So we have the Great Bear, which is Judgment, number 20. And the bear is guarding the entrance to the next phase of the journey. We see behind it the symbol for the Big Dipper, basically it's a bear, and Ursa Major, right, or something. And then we have the Aurora Borealis as well. So to answer your question, with Judgment reversed, there is usually an understanding that you need to do something, but there is disbelief or frustration that you have to do it. So for some of you, the decision of what to do and when to do was maybe made for you. All you have to do is decide if you're on board or you're not. If you're on board, the universe starts to supply. If you're not, it doesn't. The same thing if you want to create something new in your life. Let's say you're trying to start up a business, you want to propose marriage, you want to propose a project, something big. that you're really invested in and definitely need to make sure that the other person is as well. You have to, without a shadow of a doubt, believe, embrace, and connect to the fact that this is the right thing. Because if you don't, they're going to have a hard time buying in. So disbelief is what's holding you back. So believe that this is the thing to do, and then it will work. If you don't believe in something, don't push. It's only if you believe, and if you already feel like you should do it, this is confirmation of that. The last thing on this card is that you're never done completely. This is like the 9 lives card, or the phoenix rising from the ashes. So it's saying, be ready to reinvent, be ready to turn a new page, because you're far from the last step of this journey. There's more to come. The best is yet to come. Okay? So that was the answer to that. Let's move on to sun, rising, and moon messages. A chance for us to dig a little deeper into those most popular aspects which people watch for. Again, just to clarify, this reading can be used for any aspect of your chart, but I know that most readers, myself included, would encourage you to look at sun, rising, and moon. So I'm doing you a little bit of a favor here and looking more at those aspects. Okay, so let's shuffle the cards, take a look, and see what's coming through for that. Alrighty. Sun, rising, and moon. Sun, rising, moon. Okay, some great energies coming through for all of those. All right, so let's begin with messages on the sun. For the sun, we got the Fool, or in this particular deck, the Wanderer. And what I love here on this particular card is the rainbow that they're traveling across. So let's assume some of you have been through a tricky period in time. This card is saying it's time for a fresh approach. It's time for a new start. This time it will be different because you're smarter, because you're more prepared, because your heart is open, because you can see the silver lining to all of this. So approach every day in the next 6 to 8 weeks as a clean slate. Today is a clean slate. I don't have to repeat. I choose not to repeat what I've been through before. I choose to try something new. I choose to experience something new. Having some fun, not taking yourself so seriously, also really important. Connecting to the comedian energy that we saw with the catalyst will also serve you well, okay? Beginnings, openings, opportunities. I mentioned with the Great Bear, with the Judgment card, that it is reincarnation or rebirth. Normally we would see an angel and all these souls rising up from the dead. So when you were stuck, when something didn't work, when you felt like you were at a dead end, it really wasn't. And this is just a new start. Let it be freeing, let it be fun. Don't feel overwhelmed. One of the things like I can kind of relate to here with moving is I'm still looking to the right because I have a bunch of boxes, but every day I get rid of 2 or 3 boxes and that feels good, and recycle that stuff. And I'm like, all right, that's done, on to the next thing. And every day the energy opens up more and more, and you just imagine what the space will look like without all of that. And so as you build something new, as you start a new job, as you start a new relationship, as you start a new project, yes, there's a little bit of work to do at the beginning, but every day builds on the previous, and pretty soon you start to see foundational energy in place. So don't get too far ahead of yourself. Let's move to rising and moon signs. Rising and ascendant signs. Rising and ascendant, basically focusing on how you are projecting yourself and also how you're being received. You got one of the magnets. We have the 2 of Cups. Let's pull it in the upright position. It was reversed. So in the upright position, it's saying, I'm getting what I'm giving. So there's always a message here to put your best foot forward. We learned that with the Fool for those of you in the sun sign. And then that's getting rewarded for those of you that have rising or ascendant in Taurus. Now, there could be a little bit of disbelief. Someone could be popping into your life and you've been waiting for a long time. It's not necessarily just love. It could be the job you're waiting for. It could be the friend you've been looking for. It could just be someone on the street that talks to you and they like you. There's this sort of connection. Again, we got it at the center of the spread with the 6 of Cups. It can go quickly from here into something richer or deeper. So you can make fast friends with someone. This is going to be a really, really powerful period of partnership for rising and ascendant. In short, as a report card, this would be an A-. You're doing really, really well, only because it's reversed. the rising and ascendant, it's saying, I'm showing up well to others. They want to engage with me, but I'm holding back a little bit. Let me look at that. Is it because of hesitation, self-doubt? Do I not necessarily vibe with their energy, or am I just not believing that I'm manifesting? Look at the sort of the friction, because I don't think it needs to be there necessarily. And again, an element of surprise where someone expresses interest in you. It's a good month. You're doing great. So both sun and rising doing very well with how you're showing up to the world at large. And yes, love could be coming in. And yes, it could be in an unexpected or inconvenient time. All right, moving on to the moon sign. We have the Queen of Pentacles, and she's reversed. This is the third Queen energy that I've picked up so far. You're only missing Queen of Swords. So with the Queen of Pentacles, second favorite card. I don't know why I like the bears in this deck. They're just fun to look at. She's a little grumpy, and some of you may be trying to... This is the card of house and home. So some of you may be feeling like, I need my space, especially if you're in a relationship, or maybe if you've just been working a lot, you need to recharge, you need to go home, you need your me time. So carve out a little bit of you time. Make sure that you are taking care of yourself. Try not to go on the defensive unnecessarily. Try not to take things too personally without figuring out first if they were intentionally personal. So did someone just say something constructive and it was curt? Maybe the missing Queen of Swords here that we're not seeing. Or did someone perhaps, just not give you enough support and that hurt you, but it wasn't intentional, they're just distracted. Because you remember here as we look at what's been going on, it could be you, it could be your partner, where there's just a lot. Whatever's going on, the thing that you can do this month is to ask. It's your turn to receive, but in order to receive, you have to put out what you want. So say, hey, I'm curious about this. This is something we discussed. I was really looking forward to it. I'm wondering how we're tracking, if it's still on. I hope it is. You can find a lot of ways to kind of like put that energy that you're expecting something but didn't receive it. Or you can firmly, because she's reversed and she can be very direct, say, in order to accomplish this goal, I need this. Can I get it? If you're in a business situation. We both want this done, right? Where's this? I need that to make it happen. If not, we need to get realistic about X, Y, or Z. Okay? So there's a direct energy to this. There's an inquisitive energy. There's also a grumpy energy. So we want to make sure that the grumpy side doesn't take over. We'll instead try to get clarity and try to ground ourselves in what's happening and what's just, our heart taking an extra beat or two too much, and that's going to serve you well. Okay? Let's take a quick checkpoint to make sure that I didn't miss anything, and then we'll go into the final portion for today. So we've gone through channel messages, the Celtic Cross, the expanded forecast, big idea, blessings, blocks, viewers and readers' choices, and then we went through the sun, rising, and moon messages. So yes, we're on track, everyone. What we're going to do next is going to meditate. We're going to meditate, and then we're going to focus on a final card. If it's your first time here, the final card functions as a silent question where you get to ask me whatever I haven't had a chance to answer in this general reading. So it can be very specific. Don't put it in chat. Just write it down or think it in your head while we're meditating, and then we'll get clarity on it. We are very close to the next milestone, less than 1,000 away. So the minute I hit that, I will do a Q&A video where we can talk about anything. And I'll post a community post, and I'll prioritize. This is special for members. So members, Patreon supporters, you'll get a first chance, and we'll see how many come through with that. And then when I go go live, then anyone that's a subscriber, maybe I'll take an extra couple of questions. So that's a special thing that we're close to. Let's hit that sooner than later. And also hit the bell icon until I post my schedule. That'll keep you posted on what's coming through. Follow me on social for additional reminders. Remember again that I don't use direct messages and I don't do private readings. If you want to show some support, you can do that. Otherwise, let's meditate and get ready for that last card of the reading. So today, let's look at what's in front of us real quick and see what's calling. I'm actually really drawn to the sun. And one thing that I want to talk about for a second, and then we'll meditate on it. This card shows that you have the capacity to pull things into your life. It's your passion, it's your ideas, it's the hard work that functions like the sun does in our little tiny universe here, or solar system, and it's basically the glue. So seeing yourself as the glue and deciding what to orbit in and orbit out. Sometimes I like to kind of compare all the things in our life as those orbits. So what's going to be your Mercury, really close? What's going to be your Pluto or beyond, pushing it way out, okay? So close your eyes and focus on your solar plexus, the area just around your belly button. Maybe you can create a little friction with your hands, put your hands on that space, feel the activation there. And I want you to think of a couple of affirmative thoughts. Think to yourself something akin to this, and you can modify as needed. Take a deep breath and say, I am ready. You can keep breathing as you say each thing. The next breath you will say, I am worthy. And the final thing you will say, I am creating all of these opportunities in my life. I am creating opportunities. I'm ready and willing to receive them in the highest forms. And just sit with that for a second without trying to judge it or control it or modify it. Just see yourself as source. You're more than even a magnet. You are source. You are the light. And in this moment in time, we're flicking the light bulb on, and it's a bazillion gigawatts, more than you can imagine, basically shining in all directions. So I want you to imagine each and every ray is reaching out to a person, a place, a thing that you want to bless, release, or manifest. See this light, see these rays reaching out infinitely in all directions and all dimensions as well. And as you do that, you can imagine that although your physical body is here on the planet, your energetic body is starting to rise up, just like this illustration. And you can see yourself against the sun, just like this, where there's this halo of light surrounding your body. And just as the corona around it, you can sort of see all those beautiful waves. Imagine that you are tapping into those waves of energy and those waves of light. And as you're doing that, as you're connecting to source, becoming your own source, I'm going to play the singing bowl, and then we'll come back in a moment and read your final question. Keep breathing, keep opening up. And just relax and receive a healing. All right, take a moment now. Breathe in, allowing your body to descend back from the sky into your heart, into your solar plexus, reconnecting with your power, with your energy. Take a few deep breaths and slowly open your eyes on the final exhale, and then we're going to take a look at your final card. Okay, Okay, so earlier I was asking you to focus on one question that you had for me that I hadn't had a chance to look at yet. This is your moment for that question to be answered. So focus on what it is that you need clarity on. Don't write it out in chat just yet. Simply think the question, speak the question, and let's see what the answer might be. It's a really great card, actually. So we have the Three of Cups coming through, and it came through reversed. So there's a lot of unexpected developments when it comes to community, friendships, and relationships this month. The Three of Cups is typically a card of celebration. So you may get an invitation to a party. There may be some good news coming through, an engagement, something really great. Someone just was able to reach some sort of a breakthrough. Say yes to this invitation. Because, again, we saw a lot of organic meetings that could happen. We want to connect as much as possible to the Three of Cups energy this month. Putting yourself out there, allowing others to be a part of your life and your experience is going to benefit you. For those of you that are asking a yes, no, this would be ultimately a yes. I mean, Three of Cups is very positive. There is a warning, of course, that connects with the raccoon energy. So the raccoon came through, as you know, this month. The Three of Swords, or the Three of Cups in reverse, can indicate gossip. So you just want to be mindful of not sort of sharing too much too fast with someone. So it's a yes, but slow and steady. Let people prove themselves. Let situations reveal themselves completely. To be as inclusive as possible, because the reverse of the Three of Cups would be inclusive energy and celebrating everything. To be happy for others' successes, because that's important. And basically just to celebrate this moment, celebrate others, have some fun, don't overdo it. I was talking earlier about the drunkenness on this card. This is not just like substances. This can be workaholic energy, or this can even be, going so far out that you're forgetting about some of the everyday stuff that you've promised to do. So grounding oneself in this moment in time is going to be an essential piece to success and happiness, etc. One last thing with this is that there could be someone in your life that wants a little bit of dedication or decision on, yes, I'm ready, or yes, I choose this, or yes, I choose you. Three of Cups is a very open and very non-committal energy. Three of Cups reverse is saying, I want to know where I stand. So maybe someone will approach you this month and want to know where you stand. So get ready for that question and figure out what your answer is going to be to that. Okay? That, my friends, is the wrap-up of today's reading. Again, a quick reminder to like, subscribe, and share this as well. Let some other people know if you enjoy what you saw here. It helps with the growth, and I like to reach more people always, so I appreciate that. Reminders will be sent on social media, so please follow me if you haven't already done that. And I'm going to take a moment here and express some gratitude for everyone that did share some love and support with SuperChats, SuperStickers, and memberships. So let's do that. While I'm getting that pulled up, I also want to say thanks to everybody who has just been watching me for all these years, whether or not you are a member or you've given back. I just appreciate your participation. So thank you so much for being a part of this cool and extended family. It's great to have you here. Let's now say thanks to any new members that have joined within the last day. Looks like we have a few, and I can't remember which ones joined last night because I did a reading. So I'll just go through these quickly, and they get a chance to all be welcomed, even if they joined yesterday. So Pamela Johnston, Willow Nighthawk, Dr. Diva, Wild Foxes, Kitty Cat Black, Paranormal Experiences. I think that was from yesterday. I'm pretty sure, yes, so I can stop there. So thank you to those folks that joined this morning or during this reading. I appreciate that. Like I said, I will have some special perks coming up with a Q&A video, and then you can always vote a few times. And yesterday, accidentally, I turned on member-only chat, and so maybe from time to time, I'll do a special members-only reading where everyone can watch, but only members can chat or ask questions. So I'll try to open up some new perks for members because I do appreciate you. All right, so super stickers today. Let's see who participated. Mary, thank you so much for kicking things off, or Mari. Laverne, thank you, and I'm glad that you appreciate this in the midst of the unpacking. I appreciate the generosity, Laverne. That helps a lot. I'm going to, by the way, use some of the funds here to buy some new decks. So now that I have an address, I can actually send them to myself, and I'll look at the posts that I put up a few weeks ago and see what you guys suggested. Arizu, thank you as well. Dave F., Stella Morris, and Yvette Sanchez. Good to see all of you, especially the familiar faces. Good to see you back here again. Let me see if I missed anyone, and otherwise I will wrap up. We've got a couple of latecomers here. Sarah George, thank you as well. And Miley Reyna, thank you. So I did get your question about upcoming schedules. I should have it posted by the weekend. Again, I'm waiting for my internet person to come today. This is going to be like their second or third. This is the third rep because they moved it, then they didn't install it correctly. Now they have to send someone else out to fix it. So I've had like 3 different reps coming out to fix the internet. But it looks like in the meantime, I can stream from my phone if I need to. So I probably can commit to a schedule. So I will try to put that up by Friday at the latest. And I appreciate your patience because again, I just moved in and I'm unpacking and I'm trying to work in the midst of all of that. So thank you while the dust is settling. All right, everyone, take care of yourself. Have a fantastic day, a fantastic week, and a fantastic month ahead. It's been great spending some time with you today. I'm going to go find Apollo, who's eating and ready for his walk. All right, everyone, from my heart to yours, thank you so much. Make this a great day. And again, thank you, Stella, for, yes, new decks. Yes, I will take a look at that today, this afternoon, as I'm unpacking and put in a few purchases. So hopefully by the collective, I should have some new decks if Amazon delivers quickly enough. All right, guys. I'm glad you like the lighting, too. Isn't this a nice change from the stale lighting that was in that other room that I was in? Like, I really looked... I don't even need the lamps anymore. I can just work with like the natural lights. You can't see behind me, but there's also 2 skylights and there's a couple of other sconces. So like the room is even bigger than it feels because I have all this equipment against one of the walls. But I can't wait until later this year where we can actually do a legitimate fireside chat, not just like a digital image of a fire. We'll do some of that in the weeks to come, or well, not in the summer because it's too hot. But like around October for Halloween and for Christmas, we can do some stuff with the fire behind us. So more fun stuff and definitely a cozier environment. Okay? Lots of love and light. See you guys soon. And thank you so much for your love and support. Glad to have you here.